Welcome everyone to this Wednesday morning and our special extra webinar about hashtags. That is Dixie and Katrine, and we are with Easy Marketing, and we are a digital marketing agency, but we also do websites, we do logos, we do printed business cards, brochures, anything you need when it comes to marketing. You have our contact information in here, and then at the end of the meeting today, if you're still there, we're going to put your name in a hat and we go do a drawing, and if you're a winner, you're going to get a free consultation with me. So make sure you check the follow-up email.
Thanks, Katrine. Well, today we're concluding our series, Simple Recipes for Social Media Success. And if you're just joining us, don't worry. Each of these workshops is self-contained, so you can pick right up today without skipping a beat. But if you find this helpful and you maybe want to go back and catch up or revisit some of our previous topics, we'd love for you to do that. All of them are available for a limited time on our YouTube channel, Easy Marketing, spelled EZY. So as Katrina was mentioning, we got a ton of questions about hashtags over the course of this series. So today we're giving you sort of a bonus workshop focused exclusively on hashtags. So this is today by popular demand. We know your time is short, so let's dig right in. So let's start with, what is a hashtag? So a hashtag is a word or phrase preceded by the pound symbol. It was first used way on back in 2007 by Chris Messina, who suggested that Twitter users employ it as a way to group related tweets together. And what you're seeing here is the first ever tweet, by the way. Since then, the use of hashtags, their reach and their effectiveness has exploded. On social media today, it serves as an indication for both users and algorithms that a piece of content relates to a topic or belongs to a category. Hashtags are a way to connect social media content to a specific topic, event, a theme, and a conversation. Hashtags also make your content discoverable on those in-platform searches, which helps you effectively reach more people. And they're not just for Twitter anymore. Hashtags are effective in a whole variety of social media platforms, and we're going to look at several in detail today. In fact, we reach some of you by posting this event on all of our social media channels and making good use of hashtags so that you could find us. So let's start with some hashtag basics. Hashtags always start with the pound symbol. You can use any combination of letters, words, and even numbers, but they will not work if you use spaces, punctuation, or symbols. It's also a misconception that hashtags are case sensitive. They are not. So let's look at an example from one of our real life clients, the Health Up Institute. The first tag you can see we used here is the hashtag breast cancer awareness. Since that's a multi-word phrase, we chose to capitalize the first letter of each word, but we could have used all lowercase letters. They are the same hashtag and group exactly the same content either way. All lowercase is the more traditional way to go, but we do recommend the use of capital letters in cases where it improves readability. So either is fine, just be consistent in the way that you use it. I also want to clear up that a hashtag is different from tagging another person or business or account, which is done using the @ symbol. Looks like a little A. So for this post you see here, we use the hashtag breast cancer awareness to group it with related posts, about that topic. But let's say we had been working with the National Breast Cancer Foundation, we also could have used the @ symbol to tag that organization's Facebook page. So those are two different things, hashtags and tagging another page. So if you're new to using hashtags, you might be thinking, well, we've gotten along fine this far without them, why should I bother? And that's fair enough, but millions of brands, millions are using them and with good reason. So let's take a look at a few. First, hashtags can help you increase engagement with your followers. When you include hashtag in your post, this makes you take part in a conversation that's happening on that social media platform and makes your post and your organization visible in that conversation. This, of course, boosts your brand's social media engagement and helps you get likes and comments and shares. Second, and likely the one that you're most interested today, is that using hashtags can help you gain new followers. On both Instagram and LinkedIn, users can not only follow people and businesses, but they can also follow specific hashtags as well. So using a few well-researched hashtags is a great way to help new users find your brand. Let's look at an example. One of our clients, Waves for Power, is an international company producing green energy from ocean waves. You might not be following them on Instagram, and we won't hold it against you. But let's say you are interested in renewable energy and that you follow the hashtags, hashtag green energy or hashtag clean energy, then you would have seen this post in your feed because you followed those hashtags. And then perhaps you would have visited their page and started following our client as well. Using hashtags is a great way to organically expand your reach without having to constantly invest advertising dollars. Hashtags also help build brand awareness. They help people know what your brand is all about. They make it more memorable and they make it easier to connect with you. One way is through your very own branded hashtag, which I'll talk about in more detail in just a minute. Finally, hashtags can make your organization more relevant by showing support for social issues. So just because you own a successful plumbing business doesn't mean that every post needs to be about plungers. You can use hashtags to show support for important causes, things that people are talking about today, be it on a national scale or in your local community. So hopefully that you're seeing some of the benefits of hashtags or are at least interested in how they can help you gain more followers. But there are several different types of hashtags, each with its own purpose. Branded hashtags are custom hashtags associated with a specific brand, business, or organization. Think of it as a word or phrase that you select that best represents your organization, and then you're going to use it consistently across all your social media channels. So let's use the cereal giant Cheerios, for example. They use the branded hashtag good goes round on most all of their social media content. One of our clients, a local soccer club, uses the hashtag your soccer family. Both of these are great examples of custom branded hashtags. In addition to that you're going to use probably year round, you may want some hashtags for shorter term uses. These might be specific to an event or a campaign, and these are really great for user generated content. So let's say you're hosting an annual fundraising event, like a golf tournament or a gala, could be a big corporate retreat, maybe a customer seminar, whatever it is you do. It's a great idea to ask the attendees to post pictures of the event. With an event hashtag, you don't have to be personally following everyone in the room in order to be seeing that content. If they share it with the special hashtag that you've designated, it's grouped together and now it's visible to everyone.
I have a question here coming in.
Yeah,
If I created a branded hashtag, do I own it or can other people use it? That
that's
was
a
one of
great
the questions.
That's such a great question. So branded hashtags are not intellectual property. You don't own them. In fact, the very idea is that other people can use it and find you with it. So in the soccer club example I used a moment before, let's say Susie has kids in our soccer club and maybe she wants to post pictures of their game on the internet and on all her social media channels, she could use our branded hashtag, Your Soccer Family, and then other people are going to see her post as well. So you don't own it, and in fact, you want to encourage your users to use it. There have been a few cases of what I would call hijacking of people's hashtags, but for medium and small sized businesses and nonprofit organizations, it's not a big concern. So I'd say choose your hashtag wisely and then just monitor to make sure it's being used appropriately. So great question. So for these short-term uses, like a fundraising event, you don't have to be following everybody. Everybody's going to see what you post using the hashtag. Another thing would be like a contest or a short-term campaign. Charmin, the toilet paper manufacturer, was one of the first brands to embrace potty humor. And they launched this hashtag, tweet from the seat, a few years ago. And it was a contest, and they asked users to do just that, to tweet from the seat. And it was wildly successful. Turns out people really like feeling like kings and queens on their thrones, and we're not afraid to tweet about it. So that's an example of a short-term campaign hashtag that you're going to use for a while to drum up interest and get people talking and sharing user-generated content. For everyday use, though, you're going to need some related hashtags. So these are words or phrases that are not specific to your organization, as with the branded hashtags we talked about earlier, but are related to your business in some way. So for example, they could be the industry that you're in, the location that you're at, if you're a brick and mortar, the products and services that you offer. Any words or phrases that might help someone connect with you are going to be good related hashtags to use on some of your posts. And I'll show you how in a minute. So let's talk a little bit more about branded hashtags. Since that's going to be custom to your organization, you really want to put some thought and effort into it. So let's talk for a second about what makes a good branded hashtags. The best ones tend to be relatively short. You don't want to string too many words together. So if you're a law firm of Baker, Barker, Davis, Brown, and Epstein, please don't make that your hashtag. It's way too long. You want to go for something shorter, like maybe hashtag Chicago Law Firm. That's a much better hashtag. You also want it to be something that's memorable because you're going to be using it, but also your users are using it. So they have to be able to remember that hashtag. So if you've been to a wedding in the past decade, I know you've seen these fun, catchy hashtags like two peas in a Dodd or let the James begin. I love these. And yours don't have to be clever or punny, but you do want them to stand out in a good way. Keep in mind that a good hashtag is easy to spell. I would be careful of O's and zeros. People tend to mix those up. Also, L's and uppercase I's look alike. I tend to avoid double consonants, so like two N's in a row, and any word that is easily misspelled is something that you would want to avoid in your hashtag. Finally, you want to ensure that your branded hashtag is not going to be easily confused with some other non-related content. So we encourage you not to use acronyms, for example, because I can guarantee you that some other organization and some other industry is probably now or in the future going to use that same acronym, and you may not want to be associated with them. So maybe do a keyword search on Google and see what you come up with. You'd be surprised. Teens today have all sorts of creative uses of language that you may not be aware of. So do a little diligence up front, check on your hashtags and keywords, see what you come up with, and make sure that you're not being lumped in with any other undesirable content. In addition to your branded hashtag, you're going to want to make good use of those related hashtags I mentioned, ones that have to do with your industry, location, products, and services. So let's look at an example. Let's say that we are in the wedding industry and we're considering using hashtag wedding in our posts. Fair enough, seems like a good idea. But hashtag wedding has over 214 million posts on Instagram. That's very popular, but also very broad. Obviously, we love to have some of those millions of users who follow hashtag wedding discover us. But because it's so popular, new posts with that hashtag are coming up every second. So it's a high reward, but low probability situation, like going viral. We want to give ourselves that chance, that opportunity, but not put all our eggs in that basket. So we suggest here at Easy Marketing that you use a combination of both popular and targeted hashtags. So think about what subsector of the industry you're in. Let's say that we are a bakery specialized in wedding cakes. In that case, instead of using hashtag wedding, we might choose to use hashtag wedding cakes. This has 1.5 million posts, still not too shabby at all, but then we don't get lost in a sea of other wedding related things, wedding planners and photographers and venues and gown shops who don't offer the same unique services as we do. And the thing about wedding cakes is you're probably going to want to get it from somewhere local, right? Because you can get a consultation, you can do a tasting. They're going to be able to deliver it on the day of your wedding. So we suggest even a more targeted hashtag like Seattle Wedding Cakes, which has about 3,000 posts. Obviously, that is a tiny fraction compared to the millions of people following hashtag wedding, but it is a really targeted audience that your business specifically needs to reach. So when you post pictures of your beautiful cakes on social media, if you use both a popular hashtag like hashtag wedding or hashtag wedding cakes and a more targeted tag like Seattle wedding cakes, you give your business the opportunity both to be discovered by a large audience and to reach a smaller, more targeted specific audience to what you offer. So for that in mind, I know you're thinking, how do I find these related hashtags? Am I supposed to make them up? Is there a list somewhere? To find hashtags that are related to your brand, your industry, and your audience, you need to do a little research. The best place is by monitoring your competitors and possibly any social media influencers that cover your industry. We call this a competitive analysis. Make note of which hashtags they use most often and how many they're using in each post. This is going to help you learn from your competitors and who are engaging with the same shared target audience that you are. Next, you want to explore hashtag recommendations in your social media channels themselves. Social media platforms are getting pretty good about giving you suggestions. On LinkedIn, for example, when you click on a hashtag, you can find more hashtag recommendations. So you just click on the ellipsis, those three little dots on the top right, and then choose discover more hashtags. And it's going to give you things that are similar. And you're going to want to do your research, but it's giving you good ideas. Facebook also, when you start typing your first hashtag, Facebook will recognize it and will recommend other related and trending Facebook hashtags for you to consider. There are also a number of hashtag tools on the web that you might want to try. Hashtagify Me, for example, lets you search hashtags to see how popular they are overall, recently, and how they're trending over that week or month. Right Tag is another service that lets you input your specific content, so your picture, your caption, and it uses AI, artificial intelligence, to generate hashtag suggestions based on that content. Finally, you want to keep track of your hashtags and analyze them over time. So let's say you're a recruiter and you've been using several different hashtags. You might find that job search gets better results than hashtag careers. So you can pivot to using that tag more often, but you'll only know that if it's something that you're keeping track of. One of the things we do with each of our new clients is to put together a branding board like you see here. It has the logo variations, color schemes, fonts, brand descriptors. It's kind of a one-page cheat sheet, if you will. And you'll see that the hashtags that we've researched are included on this as well. It's an important piece of the social media process, so we include them for every one of our clients. Mm-mm. So with all these things in mind, we've talked through the basics and how to research them. I would want to just very quickly show you how and where to use each of these on the major social media platforms. Instagram is where hashtags really shine. So don't go nuts, but also don't be afraid to use a good number of hashtags here, maybe 10 to 15. I would caution you that these need to be relevant to your post. So just because hashtag devious licks is trending, you don't want to use that in a post about your fall festival. It looks spammy and you're going to get tagged. Same for hashtags like follow me or like with a like. Don't use those things. You're going to get banned. You want to keep them really relevant. We recommend that you group all of your hashtags at the end after the caption, or you can use them in the first comment. That will work just as well. I would not sprinkle them throughout your caption because that makes it difficult for text-to-speech readers to pick those up on Instagram. You can use the search bar to find hashtags, and they're also clickable. So if you come across something interesting, just click and you'll see the whole feed, and then you can follow it. Make sure that your branded hashtag is in your bio, and definitely use the Instagram Insights page. It'll show you how many users saw your post because of your hashtag, and that's great intel. On Twitter, unlike Instagram, you want to be really conservative with your hashtag use. We recommend no more than 2. But here you can use hashtags anywhere in your tweet. Because they count toward the 280 character limit, it's good to do that. So you don't need to group them at the end. You can use them to highlight key words mid-sentence even. You can also use hashtags in comments, replies, and retweets. There are lots of great ways to find Instagram and hashtag. You can see them here. So we encourage you to give each of these a try.
Yeah, and one of the things you might heard in the media when something is happening, very often they talk about Twitter and said this have been tweeted about like 5 million times the last hour, and you think, how do they keep track of that? And that is because all those 5 million people used a certain hashtag, and that's how that is showing up.
Absolutely. Great. So let's talk about Facebook, for example. For a long time, the conventional wisdom was that hashtags were a waste of time on Facebook, but no more. Just last September in 2020, Facebook started to recommend hashtags to add to your post via a little drop-down menu, similar to how hashtags work on other channels. They also began notifying users that hashtags can boost organic reach and therefore improve your search engine optimization. So Facebook has definitely taken a stand on hashtags, and we encourage you not only to start using them if you're not already, but you can also go back to previous posts and put hashtags in there so that they can be indexed for later. Hashtags work on your personal profile, on your fan pages, group posts, events, and all comments. Here, again, I would limit it to 2 or 3, but you can use it in any part of the post or in the comments. You can use the search bar, and you can also click on a hashtag to get directed to its feed. Right now, you can't follow that feed, but you can go there and see what all the different posts are using that hashtag. Also, every hashtag has its own unique URL. So in the example you see here, it would be facebook.com/hashtag/flag football. And there's one of those for every single hashtag. They're also really great to use in private groups if that's something that your organization is utilizing, because it helps you organize content. So I encourage you to give that a try. Next is LinkedIn. This is a great platform for hashtags because people are on LinkedIn specifically for networking. Just like with Insta, you can follow a specific hashtag and you'll see them directly in your feed. My best advice here is to keep it professional. On LinkedIn, you want to be seen as an industry expert, a source of valuable and trustworthy information. So this is the last place that you want to use any cutesy or spammy or made up hashtags. Limit it to no more than 3, but you can use them anywhere in the post. LinkedIn also will suggest hashtags as you type, but again, you can use the search bar to check out trending hashtags. Finally, YouTube, and we could spend hours and hours talking about just YouTube. And hashtags aren't the only ways to get your videos seen, but they are important. So the basics, use 2 or 3 hashtags in the video description or in the title itself, because the first 3 will be shown, just like you see there, in the title or above the title. At the bottom, you see the search bar where you can find hashtags, and they're also clickable. So you can click on that hyperlink to see the full feed. I will caution you that YouTube is really serious about spammers, and any content with more than 15 hashtags will likely be flagged. So be cautious of that. I encourage you to pick your best 3, and I think that you'll have great results and make your content more discoverable on YouTube. So with that, we're going to open it up to any more questions that we had. Katrine, did we have any come in while I was talking?
I haven't seen any more coming in, but I mean, you've done an excellent explanation of all of it. And this is the bonus to what we call social media success. And with social media in marketing, it is all about being found. And I think most of us are familiar nowadays with your website and what we call search engine optimization and search words on Google and everything. So we kind of understand this. And what you talked about here, the hashtags is kind of the search words, the optimization of social media. Because again, just like you talked about, you want as many people as possible to see your post, and people are out there searching for things they find relevant or interesting.
Yeah, those are
So
great.
yeah, and I see one person in here. I thought they had an excellent one, because this must be a city and it's called Meriden Township. So that hashtag in that case is for that city. So if they use it, it's for that. But it also have a prime community, and you can see that that hashtag is more available to use anywhere. And that does 2 things. You have your little piece of the internet, but you're also part of a bigger community.
I love it. Great use of a hashtag.
And we have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Is it just trial or error until I find the right hashtag for each brand? And how do you test whether or not a hashtag is used or working?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, first of all, go to each social media platform and just type the hashtag into the search bar. Actually use the pound symbol, so you could type hashtag digital marketing, and it will bring up a feed and show you, and typically a number, it'll say, 214 million posts or 3,000 posts. So you can see already who is using this hashtag and how popular it is. It's for a branded hashtag, it's not necessary that it's never been used in the history of the world, but only that it's not being actively used by, a competitor or somebody in another industry that you might get confused with. So don't feel like you have to, come up with something totally original. You just want it to be something that's not being used right now.
Yeah, and you talked about it before. It's important that that hashtag, whatever you come up with, is not used for something inappropriate, because you sure don't want to get that content up. We when we worked on this yesterday, just for fun, I put in the hashtag coconut milk, and I did this in Facebook, and it was just interesting to see how many recipes and comments and ideas about coconut milk and how that could be used right in my Facebook feed.
Yeah, exactly. So coconut milk would be a good example of a related hashtag. That's probably not going to be our branded hashtag, but if we are, a person who has recipes, or if we're talking about healthy eating, or if we're a vegan restaurant or something, we might use the hashtag coconut milk when we're talking about specific posts that relate to that. So anybody who's following the hashtag coconut milk is going to see our content. So hopefully when I explained how to research it, you'll see that it's not really trial and error. You want to go out and see what competitors are using. You want to use the couple tools that I recommended, and you want to check each search platform and pick related hashtags, some that are both very broad, like hashtag wedding, and some that are very narrow, that are be closer to the specific services that you offer or the specific place that you're at. So start with those, maybe pick up to 30, and then you're not going to use every one in every post. You're going to use them on different posts depending on what the content is, and then see from there which ones are the most effective. Hopefully that answers your question.
And we do have the final question here. We are running over time a bit, and that is Teresa that are asking where you place them in Instagram. So in Instagrams, you write your little piece, you put an extra blank line in there, and then you just add them one after the other afterwards. And Mike is asking, where can I receive a copy of the presentation? So in a few hours, you're going to get a link to our YouTube video. We put this presentation on there, and the follow-up, and we're also going to see who's going to be the winner. So you sure want to open up that follow-up email, and then we're going to talk about, yes, we're talking about, of course, email marketing with Constant Contact. We have our specials with the setup, and then we wanted to talk about our next workshop that comes in 2 weeks. Waiting for that slideshow? Yes, because we are now preparing for Christmas. Okay, so now, beginning of October 13, we're going to set up and discuss how we can do our marketing during November and December for Black Friday, for Cyber Monday, and for Christmas. So please join us for a very useful workshop in 2 weeks.